Hey friends, I'm back with another do-it-yourself applique shirt. This time it's a Snowflake sweatshirt and I'm going to show you how to make it. The supplies you're going to need for this are a shirt, you're going to need some paper, a ruler, a pencil, and some tape for your pattern. You're going to need a heat erase marker and or a fabric marker. You're going to need some spray adhesive, some pins, and some scissors. I have a nippers and just a regular pair of scissors. I'm going to take my 8.5 by 11 piece of paper and I'm going to find the center of it. And I'm going to use my ruler. Mine's about 1 1/4 wide just for reference. And I'm just going to use this to mark between the lines down the center of the paper. This is going to be the width of my snowflake. Now I'm going to come over from that top line and I'm going to make a tick mark at 2 inches over. And then I'm going to come down from that same line and make a tick mark at 1 3/4 inch and 3.5 inch. And I'm just writing it on here so you can see it. Then I'm going to line up my ruler with a 2-inch tick mark and the 1 3/4 mark. And I'm just going to draw a line there. And it also lines up with the 3.5. And then I'm just going to draw a straight line to make those match up. And I'm going to fold my paper in half, and then I'm going to take my scissors and I'm going to cut out my pattern. This is so I just don't have to draw it on the other side and cut it out as well. And I'm just going to cut a little bit down the middle of the snowflake there, that piece, so that I can open it up. And then I'm going to take that and fold it in half and line it up with the bottom half of the paper. And then I'm going to do what I did before and just cut out all my lines. This is just helping us to create a mirror image. It'll be more even whenever you finish the process. Then I'm going to take that cutout piece and take another piece of paper and trace around that and cut out a second piece. Then I'm just going to lay them over top of each other, lining them up, and I'm just going to tape those together. This is going to be the pattern for our snowflake. Now I'm just going to take my pencil and I'm just going to draw that sew line about 1/4 to 1/2 inch, depending on your preference, on the inside, all the way around the pattern. Now I've taken my pattern and I've cut out a piece of fabric that is big enough to fit my pattern, just in a square shape. And I've also cut out a piece of batting and a backing piece. And you're just going to sandwich the batting between those two pieces. Now I'm going to take some spray adhesive and I'm going to spray the back to the batting and the front to the batting and backing piece. Once I've sprayed everything together, I'm going to lay my pattern down on the top, and then I'm going to take my heat erase marker or my fabric pen and I'm just going to trace around the entire project. I'm also going to go back in and trace a 1/4 to 1/2 inch, depending on your preference, sew line just for a visual whenever I take it to my sewing machine. Now here I am at the sewing machine. You can see I've lined my needle up with the inside line. That is the sew line. And I'm just taking my time, and once I get to a point, I'm making sure that my needle is down, lift my presser foot, and turn my work. Once I'm finished, I'm going to cut around the entire project on the outside line. Now I'm going to take my nippers, and I'm just going to make little cuts into the fabric. Just like this, almost all the way up to the sew line, but not in the sew line. If you accidentally snip it in there, you can take it back, take it to your sewing machine, and put another stitch in. You can do that around the entire project. You can see I've made my cuts about 1/8 to 1/4 inch on the entire project. And once you've done this, you can be done with this. You can go ahead and wash it up in the washing machine and save it for later. I'm going to go ahead and put mine on a sweatshirt. And I chose a Walmart sweatshirt, you can see here. And usually I come 3 to 4 fingers down from the collar, but this one's already got a V in it. So I'm just going to use that as my guide. I've pressed a seam down the middle just to be able to line my project up. And now I'm going to take some spray adhesive and I'm just going to spray this applique down. I'm using a couple of sheets of paper to lay my applique on just so it doesn't get everywhere. And I'm just coating it. And now I'm just going to lay it back out there and line it back up. I'm also going to take some pins and pin my project down to the front side of my sweatshirt. Don't pin it to both or you won't be able to get in it. Now after I've pinned everything, I'm going to turn my sweatshirt on the inside and just smooth out that back side just because the fabric's a little bit thicker. Now I'm at the sewing machine and you can see I've lined my needle up, with the line that we previously sewed on the applique. And I'm just taking my time and removing pins as I go along. And I'm also making sure that every time that I sew down a specific spot, that I make sure that my sweatshirt is straightened out. You can see a lot of straightening here and just taking my time. And every time that I get to a spot that needs to be lifted, I make sure that my needle is down, and then I lift my presser foot up and turn my work and straighten out my sweatshirt and remove pins as I go along. It's not going to be perfect, but that's okay. That's what makes it handmade and unique. Once you've finished, you're going to trim your threads on the front and the back side. Then you're going to take it to the washing machine and wash it up. That's what rags the entire thing up. And you can see here how beautiful it turned out. I really hope that you guys enjoyed watching this tutorial, and I hope it inspires you to make your own snowflake shirt. Remember, you can use this on a t-shirt or a sweatshirt. And I'll see you guys the next time. Bye.